What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Ross Reviews, where today we are comparing the final Fords. We've got the XR6 Sprint to the left, the XR8 Sprint to the right, and these were the final Aussie Fords ever made. The XR6 Sprint, 4-door, large sedan, the 4-liter inline-6 turbo Barra, all Aussie engine, and this thing is a legend. This is the best one they ever made. It made 325 kilowatts of power, about 576 newton meters, and there is an overboost function. And when you're in the right conditions, this thing is going to pump out 370 kilowatts and about 650 newton meters. Big stuff here. Rear-wheel drive, and it was only available with the ZF. XR8 Sprint here, it's got the Miami Supercharged V8, and this thing is epic. 345 kilowatts of power, 575 newton meters, and again, we got overboost in this as well. And when you're in the right conditions, over 400 kilowatts of power, 650 newton meters, big 4-door family sedan. Again, rear-wheel drive, and this one you could have got in the ZF or a 6-speed manual. This one, it is in the manual. And brand new, this would have set you back about $60,000, about $55,000. So today we're going to take both these cars out, drive them, and we're going to find out which one you should have bought. Starting off in the XR6 Sprint, and you guys know me, I love a good Barra. It's got the ZF. Unfortunately, they never offered these with a manual, and you know, the TR6060 is a really good 6-speed manual box. The ZF is beautifully paired to the Barra, so I can understand why they didn't offer it, but it would have been nice to have that option. There was only 550 of these cars ever made. And that is a bit of a shame because, man, there needs to be more of these. 500 were only sold for Australia and 50 did go over to New Zealand, and that was it. And you know, you look inside this car, you're not gonna see much differences to anything else. You know, the seats, they do have like Sprint embroidered into them. You know, they got nice kind of leather, but there really isn't much difference here to a well-kitted out FGX. Really what you're paying for is what is under that bonnet, and it is glorious. I tell you what, you know, you look at it, it's got the black engine cover on it, and this thing is serious. You know, this particular one, it is build number 355, and you know, these things are special. Look, they're not FPVs. There wasn't any FPV model of the FGX, which is a crying shame. You know, this basically is the FPV version because it's the special one, and this actually did get some FPV F6 parts. So we're talking F6 turbo is on this one. You know, we've got F6 injectors. Quite a few nice little goodies were on this. This particular model also did get this special carbon fiber air intake, which does look pretty damn cool there. And you know, these things were really kind of like a track-focused Falcon. And you know, this thing's got some serious performance. We've got 19-inch wheels here. They do look pretty damn good. You got big 6-pot golden Brembos up front. They're 4-pot Brembos in the rear even. So, you know, it really does help stop this car. And when you're just driving this, it does feel like a silent assassin because, you know, just cruising in drive, you know, yeah, maybe it has a slightly firmer ride with the suspension, but it doesn't feel all that different to any other Falcon, really. And then you chuck it over into performance mode. And you can feel it kind of really open up here. It really does when you flat stick this car. It does have a bimodal exhaust in this, but it definitely doesn't sound like anything from inside the car, which is a little bit of a shame. You know, it is only a 6, but definitely wish it had a little bit more noise to her. Yeah, it definitely goes when you put your right foot down, when it's in performance mode. In drive, it is a little bit more doughy. It definitely has a lot more to give when you put it into performance. But yeah, it's quick. Definitely is quick. There's a monster under this bonnet, I tell you, and I'm taking it pretty easy now. You know, the owner has kindly lent this out to me, and this car only has just over 9,000 kilometers on it. So it is brand new, and yeah, you know, it's just ridiculous. This car. I'm not even getting flat foot on this, and mate, it takes off. You know, it's got a lot to give. You know, red line is around that 6,000 mark, and geez, as soon as you get into that boost, around that 3,500 mark, man, it comes on pretty damn aggressively, and man, it doesn't stop pulling. Now, when these first came out, these were about 55 grand, sticker price. And, you know, if you actually had bought one of these from a dealer, there's probably going to be a markup there. You could almost guarantee it. I don't know what the markup would have been, but it would have definitely been more than 55 grand. These things now on the used market, especially for one of this condition, you know, extremely low Ks, you know, they're pushing 100 grand, you know, like 80, 90, $100,000 all day, every day. And, you know, these are really like an investment because they're the last Ford, the last Barra, the most powerful Barra they ever made. And yeah, it's only 500 of them here, so it's rare. Now, 0 to 100, guys. We are on this backcountry road. We've got our draggy. We're going to reset it, and we're basically just going to put this into performance mode, let it shift itself. I'm going to turn traction control off because I think that would help it. And hopefully the tires are warmed up enough here. Build it up a little bit, and let's see what this is actually going to get. So here we go. And you can definitely hear that exhaust really start popping those. Oh man, every gear change. Yeah, wow. Let's have a look at what that time was. It felt pretty quick. Definitely had to wait for boost though. Now 0 to 100, guys, we pulled up a 4.9. And look, again, I'm not sure. This might have been claimed at like 4.5. I actually can't remember. But 4.9 with another person in the car, all our camera equipment in the boot, on a back road, not even like a perfect launch, I reckon. That is bloody impressive. And, you know, the fact that it just pulled that up, I am really impressed. And, you know, I actually feel like I could have probably done it a little bit better because it took a while to build boost up, but once the boost goes, man, this thing just takes off. And that's the beauty of the Barra, mate. It just absolutely hauls ass. Wow. Now driving the XR8 Sprint here, guys, and this one, it's the manual. So we got the TR6060. It is magical in this car. It really is. And one of the most crucial differences that I love between these cars. And, you know, there isn't a whole lot of differences because visually, you know, you've got the XR8 bonnet bulge for your bonnet up front, which does look a lot nicer. You know, you've obviously got a better exhaust setup here. You've got the quad tips out the rear there. And, you know, you've got the different stripes on the side. This one has stripes down the side of the car. The XR6, it does just have these, like, little stripes at the very back quarter. There's not a whole lot of differences here, and especially on the inside, it looks basically exactly the same. But, because it is, this is the same car, but we got a different engine. And I don't know, man, this 5-liter Miami supercharged, hand-built in Geelong, yeah, this is a work of art. And when you actually open her up, man, it sounds bloody good as well. And just rolling onto it. And you can just hear that supercharger whine. The note out of the back, it is just beautiful. Even just for a stock example like this one. This thing. Oh, it's sweet. It is. Just the way this motor really just starts growling and just whining as soon as you're over 3,000 RPM. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. And when you're just shifting your own gears, I tell you what, guys, in a V8, it's the only way. You know, you're never late in a V8. In a Barra, you might be early. That's the shirt we're wearing today. But I don't know. This XR8 Sprint, you're pretty damn early as well because this thing is an absolute monster. And 400 kilowatts on overboost. Man, that is a serious number. This is the type of car that just feels like it has a little bit more emotion in it. You know, it's a little bit more involvement in it because it's making noises from the front and the rear. You know, you got to shift your own gears here. You got 3 pedals down below, and it's noisy. You know, it likes to get rowdy as well, this car. When you really push it, mate, she starts frying tires like you wouldn't believe. And, you know, the ZF with the Barra in the XR6 Sprint, it really is much more mundane, and that is much more of a sleeper in terms of just, you know, rolling on the highway. Mate, that thing will keep up with just about anything. This, if you can keep the traction on, it will keep up as well, but you got a lot more involvement in trying to do that with this one. And some people won't like that. I personally do, because, yeah, I want to be engaged. I want to have a bit of involvement, and yeah, this one definitely keeps you involved. Now, this is not an entirely all Aussie V8. It's not. You know, it does run the 5-liter Coyote from base, whatever you want to call it, and then FPV, previously FPV, used to hand assemble these, put a supercharger on them, make them all insane, and this is the Miami. Now we don't have FPV anymore, but this was actually still made in the same place in Geelong. You know, you even got the plaque, and this particular one is build number 253 out of the 750 that were allocated for Australia. And, you know, 100 of these did go over to New Zealand, so in total there's about 850 ever made. You know, it definitely does the job, and you need it. Oh man, it's just a savage. It really is. Oh, and you get the pops and bangs. You know, you gotta rev match this thing yourself. There's not many assistances in this car, which is a good thing. So, you know, there's no auto rev match. There's not even like a sport mode in this particular car. It's just all the time, balls to the wall, and that's it. You know, you can turn traction control off if you're feeling brave, and that's about all you can do. It takes skill to drive this car fast, and Ford actually claims this is faster than the XR6 Sprint if you got the manual and if you're a good enough stick shifter here, because I am not, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to do a 0 to 100 in this car today because it does only have 655 kilometers. Really, it does. That's it. It has just been fired up, driven around the block every now and then, and the owner has just really been sitting on this car. It's really, really stressing me out that we can't do a launch, but I would hate to blow this thing up. And, you know, the motor hasn't even been fully run in yet. And just coming around these corners, you know, again, this is a big, heavy car. 4-door family saloon. Got a big engine up front, too. And it just does it well, really. You still get that road noise in here. It's because of the tires, you know, flick stones up and everything like that. But in this particular one, you can feel there's more weight in this than the XR6 Sprint. So the XR6 Sprint, to me, on this back road, definitely felt like the better handling car. It just felt like it was a little bit lighter up front, which it would be. And this has got the smallest amount of little swayness in it, you know. The steering still feels very similar. Everything is basically the same, but this does have a softer suspension setup and different dampers. So you can feel it is a little bit softer, and they've done that on purpose to try and get this thing to hunker down, get some traction, but it does come at a little bit of a cost. Now, if you were smart enough to have bought one of these when they came out, they were sticker priced at $60,000. And mate, if we had a crystal ball, it would have just been a no-brainer to get one of these, because now, even one with just, you know, low Ks like under 10,000, you're looking like almost $120,000, $130,000, $150,000 they're asking now. And this particular one's only at 600 Ks. Like, it's just ridiculous. And well and truly have doubled as an investment. And this thing's only going to continue to increase, even if you put some more Ks on it, because they're just such a special car. They only came here in Australia with 750 of them. And man, it just drives so well. And I think it has the edge on the looks. So, you know, that bonnet bulge, I think the stripes down the side look better. This particular one with the blue paint, and it's got the blacked out roof. It's just really, really handsome. And when you've got the right noises coming out of this car, like it does, even from factory, rowing your own gears, you just simply can't not say this is the best one. It has to be the best one. And I love that Barra. I love a good Barra. That's the best Barra. But this Miami and this XR8, it's just absolutely insane. I absolutely love it. I want one. Yeah, this is the car. It just simply has to be the car.